to another gathering of the Gold Key Adventurers Society. Have a seat by the fire as we prepare to help you unlock the secrets of the travel life. From theme park thrills to Purple Mountain's majesty, we want to see it all and do it all, and we want to help you do the same. We all have those bucket list trips, once-in-a-lifetime destinations that we'll get to someday. We're here to help you make your travel dreams a reality. Buy the ticket, take the trip. Where do you want to go?
Come on, now tell me what's on your bucket list. Okay, hey, it's a beautiful day. Okay, hey, it's a beautiful day.
Hi-yo, Silver! Away to the exciting world of Frontierland and Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. But first, travel news, including how the good guys won at Ohana, buffets are back, but the NBA experience isn't, and Epcot Space 220 restaurant is definitely opening finally for real this time. Saddle up and load up old Betsy for Bear. It's time to hit the trail with the Gold Key Adventurers Society. Welcome back to another meeting of the Gold Key Adventurers Society. My name is Dan Leonard, and joining me this week in the studio is Jeff Williams.
Howdy, y'all.
Jess Evans.
Give me a little intro there, Gomer.
And Heather Strait.
Yeah, man.
Fresh back from Jamaica,
Just back from Jamaica.
Island time.
Fun fact, that's how Jamaican cowboys talk.
The Jamaican frontier.
We all went Frontierland. Yeah, man.
Oh, boy. Our show, as always, is brought to you by Key to the World Travel. Key to the World Travel is a full-service travel agency specializing in theme parks, cruising, and destinations around the world. Head to www.keytotheworldtravel.com for more details and a no-obligation quote on the vacation of a lifetime. Guys, have you recovered yet from our huge 100th episode, second anniversary celebration yet?
Just barely.
Barely. I've had to have intravenous B12.
I'm still sore. I haven't walked straight for a week, but yeah.
Yeah. That's
Wait, what are we talking about?
You were at a very different party than I was,
I don't remember
Jess.
that part.
You guys didn't go to the
Yes.
after party.
Yeah, apparently not.
Yeah.
Well, pour a cup of coffee, take a couple of aspirin, and in Jess's case, get one of those donut pillows, I guess. It's because the party's over and it's time to get to work.
Pull up your pink socks. It's time to podcast.
That's right. We got a big old pile of Disney theme park news to catch up on, starting with the fact that Disney fans are 2 for 2 when it comes to using the power of their collective voice on the internet to right the injustices that are perpetrated upon us by the corporate powers that run Ohana. That's right. First, they took our noodles and we said, no, give them back. And they said, nuh-uh. So we said, fine, we'll hold our breath until you give us our noodles back, you big meanies. And then they caved. And now...
Sorry for the coarse language. Listeners.
Well, now the fans have done it again. The kielbasa and the shrimp casserole have been banished forever from the tables of Ohana, only to be replaced with the original menu.
Finally.
What had kielbasa replaced?
The teriyaki beef.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense.
Something that actually...
Yes.
I like kielbasa, so I would have been okay with that. And they should have just pretended it was Portuguese sausage, because that would be good.
Right, that would have made more sense for the theme. But the original menu is back. We've got the teriyaki beef and the chicken wings. Yes. And the pot stickers and, the shrimp. The shrimp is back.
Yes.
I don't know what was preventing them from grilling shrimp.
I think it was a cost thing.
Yeah, they were putting the shrimp in that gross casserole, though.
If you bring everybody some cheese whiz with 6 shrimp in it, then they will eat 6 shrimp. But if you add that to the all you care to eat portion, then they will eat 75 shrimp.
That's true.
Well, and what size shrimp were they putting in the casserole? Was it those tiny little?
And they looked actually pretty
salad
big.
shrimp?
I never saw it in person, but
it looked like
Heather,
the
you
same,
went, right?
Same, regular size shrimp. So they're not going to come around with the skewers, though, right? They're just putting it in the skillet for the time being.
I guess.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could read the article.
I did, and it looks like they are
They're
going to
hard to
roast
read
it all, but they're just going to put it in the skillets and bring it to your
Yeah. Yep. Dinner skillet.
It's and the Ohana bread. They brought that back, the pineapple coconut bread at the beginning.
As long as I can get a refill, I don't care if they come around in their dumb pants and bring it on a skewer. I don't care. Just as long as I can eat a lot.
Although I wish we would stop pretending that COVID is being transmitted through buffets or touching things. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I had to sanitize my hands in Jamaica this weekend. It's every place you go.
I never felt worse for someone.
They were making you hand sanitize before you went into the restroom. Like,
wow.
What? Let's make me wash my hands on my way out.
That's just cost cutting again. If you sanitize before you go in, they don't have to do as good a job cleaning the surface.
I mean, I guess it's
That's
weird.
true.
Is that a challenge?
Yeah. Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Gross.
You don't know me.
Let me introduce
Hold my
you to the
colostomy
old...
Ew.
Well, good news, Heather. If you miss the buffets, all you got to do is head back to Walt Disney World soon.
That's true.
Yeah,
This one excites me.
It's interesting that they're not doing the skewer tableside service, but we do have finally the return of at least one buffet. Boma, as of the time that people will be hearing this, returned on August 20th. And
as
it
an
is
actual buffet.
as the the first buffet to return since the reopening.
Crazy.
So yeah, it was
Giddy up.
everything else that was a buffet before the reopening is now family style. So it's interesting. Hopefully we'll see some
they
changes.
sent out with this, though, it looks like they may have already portioned the things on the buffet, and you just take the little dish.
Oh
instead
yeah,
of,
Which is fine.
that's what I don't know.
Little
that for
crocks
sure.
and little skillets and
Yeah.
things.
instead of everybody
That's
touching the
more
same
of-
spoons and yeah,
Exactly.
makes sense. Yeah.
I'm kind
That's
of
what
fine
they
with
use.
that.
That's what they used to call the buffeteria model.
Yes.
Yes.
That feels nicer to
The
me because you're
Western
getting
Sizzlin' had that.
you're getting like little pre-made, little dishes. To me, that sounds fancy. I'll do it.
I feel like there was somewhere else that did that, and now I can't remember where it was.
KeyCon at Universal.
Oh yes, during the
Yep,
the COVID
that's
times,
right.
that's true. They
And
did do that,
and
didn't they?
the buffet restaurants at the Las Vegas hotels we stayed at pre-COVID did that.
Oh yes,
So it was
that's
kind of
where
an
it was.
elevated buffet, so it didn't look like a food trough or whatever. They were kind of nicely displayed, each in their own little.
It does make them
things.
look kind of classy.
The only
doesn't it?
thing about that
Well,
is if
and-
you've got a plate and you put 2 Crocs on it, your plate's
Yes.
full. You can't just pile it up like I like to do.
And that did used to be a thing at Walt Disney World back in like the 80s. In the 70s and 80s, they were big on the buffeteria, doing that. So that's like a return to the old way, I guess.
Well, it's a good compromise. I think if that's the way that this reopens, I think it's great.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you from a cost-cutting standpoint, the way they're doing it now with the family style at Ohana makes sense, because if you think about it, each section had to have a shrimp guy and a beef guy and a whatever guy. Now they have your one waiter hands you one skillet. So that's just 9-10 people. They don't have to pay that night.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the real reason for that. But the buffets never made any sense, because that's, a couple of people keeping stuff full on the buffet is really the best cost cutter you can have. Let the customer do their own dang work.
Chapek wants people to bust their own tables, but he's still working on how to present that as a plus for people.
So
It's
did
an
the price
add-on for-
change at Ohana? I noticed it's $55 now. I thought it had gone down slightly.
I don't know.
I
it go
think
back up?
that's what it had gone down to, because I think it was as high as 60 or 65 before in the pre-COVID times.
Now you're paying less because they don't have that wonderful entertainment.
Right.
I'll pay more to not hear that awful woman sing. We're gonna have an entertainment today.
But don't you love a little coconut race there while you're trying to eat?
No.
No.
I really like the food there, but they can keep the rest of that crap.
Coconut race is what he calls a Friday night at home.
One thing that's definitely not coming back, surprise, surprise, is the NBA experience at Disney Springs.
Everybody's favorite attraction is
Didn't we
dead.
know this already, that it was
There are
dead?
literally
Yeah. They had
12
laid off
people upset.
Yeah, they had laid off the staff,
And
basically
not
during
renewed the lease, right?
not renewed the
Right,
lease, and
exactly.
the thing sat gaining dust since March. Basically.
I tried to find that after we discussed that, and I could find no story about them not renewing the lease. I think it was the staff laid off, maybe.
Yeah.
It was at the same. It was close to the same time that the Void disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Void was a lease thing too.
And there was something that it wasn't, Disney had never acknowledged it, but I feel like there was some acknowledgement somewhere, maybe the NBA. I can't remember.
The Void
exactly,
fully
but-
lost all of their IP. they
Yeah,
had
somehow
licensed,
we
so.
knew they were not coming back. But
Yeah. They
Well, the fact that they kept every time we owned the travel agency, every time there was any travel agent event, they would make you go to that thing because they really want to drum up some interest in that. And it's just, I would have to say, like, even as an NBA fan, it just isn't fun.
Yeah.
It was nothing. It was a crappy video game section, a slingshot basketball thing. There's like 4 things to do. It cost $40 to get in there. You
It
could
did not
pose
have
with
good
the
reviews.
chairman of the NBA. Like, who wants to do that? A wax figure of that big lurch-looking moron.
well, now you can piss on its ashes because it's dead.
it's gone.
And one of the shortest Disney attractions that got like horrible reviews, I think maybe like Superstar Limo out in California
Yeah.
Adventure had the short. This was from August 2019 to March 2020. So it just and it sucked from the beginning. Nobody liked. I never read a good review, even from basketball fans. You know, it just did not. So what should go there? Because they haven't announced anything to put there, and they've got a nice
They're
big giant
actually putting
building.
Superstar Limo in there.
I feel,
The Superstar
I feel
Limo
like
experience.
we've given the Bobs several high quality suggestions.
I want
sure.
a hugely beautifully themed escape room.
Yes.
They could put in 12 or 15 really nice escape rooms.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk online. People want some sort of Disney-themed escape room complex. But there's been great ideas. I mean, we could go on for hours, but what do you think's actually going to go there is what I'm curious what they're going to...
Yeah, it's a
it's gonna be
big
something
piece of
stupid.
real estate.
Because
2 restaurants and a merch.
Well, they spent so much time and
location.
money converting that space for the NBA experience. It kind of is built for that. I don't know what they're going to do if they're going to spend the time and money again to just completely overhaul the building again. I mean,
They'll just turn it into the Star Wars Outpost shop.
I suspect it'll be merch for a while until
Yeah.
they figure something out.
the latest Marvel movie will have like a whole bunch of stuff there.
What's the pro sports equivalent of Hard Rock Cafe? Didn't there used to be one that was All Star Cafe or something like that?
Yeah, there's one in Times Square.
Oh God, I remember those. Yeah, I forgot all about those
Yeah, it was like the All-Star.
because it was like Michael Jordan bought into it or something.
I went and ate there one time because it started super pouring when we were in Times Square. And it literally was like, well, let's just go in there. And we ate next to Shaquille O'Neal's size 23 shoe. Like, this is kind of
Appetizing.
weird. Yeah.
It's random.
I'll have the Lindbergher.
Ew.
Or they could buy that weird 90s cartoon that was like Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, and some other guy that were like superhero athletes.
I remember that one.
And
Was it
and
Jose
they could
Canseco?
theme it to... Oh, I don't think so. I don't think anybody counts him as a hero.
Parkway Jose. I used to see him play when he played for the Huntsville Stars. And he hit a ball so far it went out onto the parkway, and they called him Parkway Jose. This was pre-rape.
Now he mows the lawn at the stadium.
Oof. Well, that took a pleasant turn.
Yes,
right
that
at the
took
end
a
there.
turn.
That's how we like to do it here. Let's see. What's next on my list? Oh, next up, we've got 2 of the most anticipated openings of the 50th anniversary celebrations.
Finally.
First, live from Disney Springs, we finally have an opening date for the Cirque du Soleil Drawn to Life show.
Yeah, and a
Yes,
teaser
November
video,
18th.
which looked really cool.
I've really
I
been
didn't see
waiting
the
for this
video.
one. I would like to see this.
I read exactly the headline.
Yeah. I love Cirque du Soleil.
Me too.
That's 75% of what I do in Vegas is go to see Cirque shows.
The video from this, it looks like it's definitely they're toning it down. I don't know, they're focusing it a little bit more because it seems to all be based around the animator's desk, and all the clips in the video seem to have that desk in there. And I'm very excited by it because I like that it's kind of taking an approach to Disney animation that you don't get to see a lot of, sort of the looking at the creation process. So
It focuses on a girl named Julie who discovers that her Disney animator father left behind an unfinished animation
That sounds like that stupid show I hate on the cruise line.
Yes, I thought of that.
Oh yeah.
Well, is
Where
that
does your garden grow?
Yes.
Does your garden grow? Barf.
10 acrobatic acts will drive the story as Julie embarks on a quest filled with her childhood memories.
I wish I had never read this. This is terrible.
But this is Cirque du Soleil, so she'll be like rolling out a giant ball and going, ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I prefer when there's not a plot you're supposed to follow. It should just be weird vignettes with cool acts going on. And hopefully that's once the animation stuff starts.
I mean, it's French Canadian
Circus coolness
clowns.
gonna
It's
happen.
still going to be weird.
Yeah, but
Will
remember
there be
there was supposed to be a story in Ka, and it was just awful.
Ka was garbage.
Will there be a morbidly obese man in a giant diaper driving?
I'll be there first night. Yes.
Front row.
And the diaper's voluntary.
Yeah, that one is weird. The old man baby thing. Kick the baby.
I'm just glad to see that they were able to get them all back from the Florida Everglades, corral them all back.
I honestly thought this might never open. Like, you just kind of stopped hearing about it.
I
Yeah,
forgot
for real.
about it, honestly. Like, every time I went to Disney Springs, I'd look over and be like, oh, yeah, there was Cirque du Soleil here at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be nice. I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm definitely going to check it out. I have never seen a Cirque du Soleil other than on television. So
Wow, really?
yeah, this would be probably the first
They're
live one I'd
awesome.
see.
I loved the one that was there, whose name escapes me right this second.
La Nuba.
Lanuba,
Yeah.
yes. We saw it. I saw it 3 times.
It was so good.
And it made an impression on you.
Mm-hmm.
So much.
Well, they all have some dumb name that makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, even more unexpected, Disney announced the opening date for Epcot's Space 220 restaurant. For real this time. We promise, guys.
No.
Really. It's opening
really
up.
happening. It's real.
And they just described the menu as upscale American cuisine.
In space.
Yeah.
That sounds like outer space food to me.
Well, and it wasn't actually an exact date. They just said
True.
mid-September. So there is still room for them to just go ahead and not.
They didn't
didn't
say
say
what
which year.
September. Yeah, there you go.
That is true.
Let's see. 30 days, half September. So that means we've got like the 13th through the
Yeah.
17th.
Within the next 6 weeks.
My birthday's on the 18th. They could go for that.
They shared some more concept art from the inside, which looks cool. I wish they would show us some actual photos of the inside.
There's footage of the inside.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it's
There's a
Zach
guy,
Ridley
yeah.
shared.
Hard hat walking around in there.
Oh,
Yeah, you
well,
can
that's
see
cool.
the
I haven't seen
elevator,
that.
and then he shows basically a couple shots of the dining room itself, and you can see
Yeah.
the earth through the window.
Oh, cool.
And everything. Looks
Yeah, it looks
Yes,
cool.
you board one
It
of
looks
two
nice. It
space
looks-
elevators. Are we
looks
going to
well
have to
done.
put a disclaimer on it that says you're not actually going into space?
Yeah. Wait for the lawyer thing. Just so you know, we're not really going to space. I'm imagining like what I would like it to be is like California Grill in space.
Yes.
That would be
But
cool.
it'll probably be like Space V8 Cafe.
Yeah. I want cool stuff to happen out the window. Like, it would be smart if you could see the Galactic Star Cruiser taking off, heading out
Bro.
for like
Yes,
a trip.
that would be awesome.
Like, that kind of stuff would be smart. Some
Yeah,
sort of
watch
weird.
it launch from the equivalent.
Yeah,
of
like
Florida.
while you're eating, all of a sudden Wally flies by with his little fire extinguisher. You know.
We could see the Galactic Star Cruiser take off from Florida when you're looking down at the Earth. That would be
Or the little shuttle that'll go up to it and then it takes off, you know, like heads out. Something like that.
Totally. Well, and
The press release says inside the dining area, you'll experience a panoramic Earth view, a variety of work and leisure activities taking place beyond the windows of the space station.
and it looks like
Lovely
it's going
stuff.
to be a prix menu. It says 2 courses for lunch and 3 courses for dinner.
Yes.
I prefer a post-feast menu.
And it'll be
I,
$5,000 a plate.
That Patina group pretty much always has good restaurants.
I love.
Trust them to deliver.
Yeah, their restaurants are some of my favorite on property. So anytime they're running something, I'll check
And
it
all
out.
their Disneyland stuff is great.
Yeah.
Well, I have high hopes for that. They better not shatter my dreams.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. More exciting news. As we're recording, tickets for the very merriest after hours event just went on sale for on-site Disney hotel guests, and for the rest of the public, they go on sale the 20th. They've released some prices and details on what they're going to have at these, not parties, but events, although this is more of a party
hours,
than the other
the very
one.
merriest of
Yes.
after
After
hours
hours.
events.
Yes.
Not just merry, but the
Yeah, the other one was just very merry. This is even more merry.
But it is pretty exciting because they're bringing back a full parade, the actual
Full
holiday
parade.
parade, and the holiday fireworks, which is great.
Here comes COVID. Here comes COVID. right down
Somebody was
COVID
like, "Hey
lane.
guys, if we have a parade and fireworks, we can charge more money."
We can add $60 to the
And
tab.
the internet went crazy over these prices. But I have to tell you right now,
Oh,
they
yeah.
are selling
sell
like
them.
hotcakes.
Oh, yeah.
People are ready to pay and willing to pay these prices.
Oh, yeah.
If they could have
Someone
only
watched
added
it.
characters in, they would have added another $60, I'm sure.
Like by
for sure.
what was it? By 10 a.m. this morning, we had, what was it, Heather? Like 75 different
Yeah, 75 different ticket orders, individual orders of multiple tickets apiece.
They'd been on sale
many
1
guests
hour.
ready to go, yeah. And they'd only been on sale for a couple of hours. It was kind of incredible.
Cheapest tickets are $169.
Yeah.
Nice. And then December 19th and 21st, they're all the way up to $249.
So what was the most expensive? Yeah, that's crazy. What was the most expensive of the last one, the current one, Halloween one?
Of
Boo
Boo
Bash.
Bash?
Boo Bash wasn't that much.
This is a good question.
No.
But everybody
because the
freaked
cheapest-
out. We're like, no one will pay it. And
The
then
cheapest
every one
for
of them
Boo-
sold out.
I think the cheapest for Boo Bash was $129, and the most expensive was just shy of $200 or just over $200. I don't remember.
Yeah, I
exactly.
think mine was like
So they
$129.
added an hour. They're doing parade. They're doing
Yep.
full fireworks show.
Yeah, the cheapest was
Honestly, from what I have
$129,
read
and the
about this-
Halloween night was $200 even.
What I've read about this, it sounds better to me than the parties because they're charging more. They're limiting the capacity. So the rides, there's no wait on the rides. It's like the parties of yore.
It is.
Yeah, the first
back
Boo
your-
Bash, apparently was pretty sparse, and they were surprisingly then selling tickets, right at the beginning of the party again.
Yeah, we had agents
Yeah.
that were there that said they rode like 10 different rides
Yeah.
like, with very little wait and still had time to do all the other superfluous crap I would never do.
I do suspect
no.
that there were some cancellations on that first one because of the COVID situation in Florida right now that
Yeah,
people have been.
True.
Some people have been choosing to cancel or rebook for a later date, given how on fire
No.
Florida is at the moment. But
I'll be at the Boo Bash on the 24th, so I'll report back.
yes, report back. Let us
No.
know.
Of this month?
Yes, coming up next week, actually.
Oh, fun.
Nice. It's also a good time to remind you that much of the internet likes to crap on Disney whenever possible. So when they said that the park was absolutely packed for that first Boo Bash,
It was
just
not.
No,
the
Yeah.
confluence of the crowds that weren't there for the event leaving
Yes.
while the
Yeah,
crowds that
yeah.
were there for the event were coming.
people that
And
got there
happens for
early.
everything.
And the people that hadn't left yet merged. And I'm sure that was crowded. And it always
And
is at those
pro
parties.
tip, if you want to just show up for the party, you show up and you make a dining reservation for right when everybody else is leaving. Like, we're going to be going to dinner. By the time we get out, everybody will have cleared out and it'll just be
Yeah, we
party
did that
people.
for villains at the, whatever, that Skipper Canteen.
Yeah.
Then
That's
you come
where we're
out
eating.
and everyone's gone.
Yep.
See, that's why you need to listen to this show and tell all your friends to listen to the show, because you get hard-hitting insider tips like that
Pro tips.
from real travel professional.
Professional. We're so professional. We don't know how to say
Travel.
the word.
Certainly not amateurs.
Professionals.
We're not ambients.
Well,
We're professionals.
yeah. Well, something as janky and half-ass as my pronunciation of the word professional is this weird theme park that Jess is going to tell us all about.
Yeah, so, when I'm at a theme park, I think I've been going for so long to these really nice professionally run theme parks that I'm missing a sense of danger. And so I've, and fear for my personal safety. So I think I've found something that's going to fix that, and I think we should all make a trip to. And pardon me, I don't speak Italian, but this is literally it's called the I Poppy theme park in Italy. Poppy. It's spelled AIPIOPPI. So I Pioppi, maybe I'm guessing, but I Poppy sounds much better. Let's be honest.
Hey, Poppy.
Hey, Poppy. And that's what you'll be saying when you travel 45 kilometers north of Venice to this weird overgrown area full of rusted out roller coasters, tilt-a-whirls, luges, and other rides. And it's all been built by a restaurateur, which you really want your theme parks built by a restaurateur. But then again,
definitely,
our theme parks are built by a cartoonist. So think about that.
Colonel Sanders.
What you're saying is that this is the Italian action park.
Yeah, it really does seem like it. So this guy apparently, Bruno Ferrin, about 40 years ago, he wanted to commission a blacksmith. He wanted to commission a blacksmith to make some hooks for him, and the blacksmith said said basically no, do it. He said no, do it yourself. And so he taught him how to weld, and he ended up deciding to put together a slide so his kids could have something to do while their parents ate at his restaurant. So he
it's then like the McDonald's play place.
Yeah, made out of metal, which is a really great idea.
Bruno's play place.
He continued to add more complex rides over the year. Now he's got over 40 kinetic powered contraptions. The metal's all corroded. The rides are overrun with weeds and woods and unswept leaves and everything like that. There's no electricity anywhere in the park. And all the rides are powered by the thrill seekers who must push and pedal their way through the rides. So not only are you putting yourself in mortal danger, you're having to physical activity for it. So that's nice. My favorite ride out of the list I'll just mention is the Bicycle of Death.
Oh.
And
I can get behind this.
So you climb into a carriage and you're pumping the pedals with your feet as if you're riding a bike, and that pulls a suspended cage as high as you can pull it. And then when you let go, the force of gravity sends everything backwards, and you spin around in a 360-degree loop. So the harder you pedal, the faster the ride goes, and it just basically spins you and throws you around.
Okay.
Oh.
Open from spring to autumn. The rides are free for anybody who buys a meal, and the meal costs 24 euros per adult for a 3-course meal with drinks. So that's not bad.
Wow.
And might be the last meal you ever have, but it's.
I hope Bruno's a better chef than a ride designer.
Yeah. And you'd think I didn't mention any. It's been a long time. I didn't even mention any. But the name of the restaurant is the Rusty Penis. So.
Hi, Poppy.
Hi,
Rusty
Poppy.
I don't know if I believe you on that one.
It's fact.
Seems suspect.
Well, I, for one, am very happy to have the questionable theme parks back on our show.
It's been a while.
We need this feature more frequently. Well, stick around, because after the commercial break, we're continuing our 50th anniversary Grand Circle Tour of the Magic Kingdom with a stop in Frontierland.
When it comes to planning your next adventure, knowledge and preparation are always key. That's why a call to your Key to the World travel vacation planner should always be at the top of your to-do list when you feel the urge to venture forth and explore the world. Key to the World Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, specializing in travel to Disney theme parks around the world, as well as Disney Cruise Line, Aulani, and Adventures by Disney. With over 450 travel advisors who share a deep love for Disney destinations, Key to the World Travel has a wealth of knowledge and passion to help you experience all the magic with none of the work. Wherever your wanderlust is driving you, Key to the World Travel is a full-service travel agency with the expertise to get you where you want to go. So whether you're headed to Universal Studios, Hawaii, Europe, or somewhere a little farther off the beaten track, your first step should always be to visit www.keytotheworldtravel.com for a no-obligation quote. Their expert travel planners are standing by to help you with every detail of your perfect vacation. That's www.keytotheworldtravel.com or at Key to the World Travel on Facebook. Key to the World Travel, your key to a magical vacation.
Here we experience the story of our country's past, the colorful drama of frontier America in the exciting days of the covered wagon and the stagecoach, the advent of the railroad, and the romantic riverboat. Frontierland is a tribute to the faith, courage, and ingenuity of the pioneers who blazed the trails across America. This month's stop on our Magic Kingdom tour in celebration of Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary is in Frontierland. Let's start with a look at the history and design of the land we know and love and some of the attractions that make it so special.
Which one is Frontierland?
It's the one with the space theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
I love Frontier.
The final Frontier. Me too. I was a Cowboys kind of kid.
Yeah. And I like Hokum, and it's all Hokum out there.
There's so much Hokum in Frontierland.
Like it's one of the few lands that still feels like the 70s have a pretty big effect on it. It's the 70s version of the West of the frontier.
Right.
Like, Disneyland's sort of, but, the Magic Kingdom one, I still feel, maybe it's just the Country Bears, but like.
Well, it's just sort of a wider thing there. Like the Disneyland one seems like a tiny little stopgap between places where you really can take your time and stroll through Frontierland at Walt Disney World.
That's true.
It's like oldie times Main Street, even older-y times.
Yeah.
Where does it officially start? Is it once you?
Well, here's where it starts.
It's a bell, Liberty Bell, past Liberty Bell.
Tree Tavern?
At the Diamond Horseshoe Saloon, which is right past the Liberty Bell there. And we talked about, when we talked about Liberty Square, how as you go across that little section, you travel in time and geographically across the country. And Frontierland continues that. So you start at the Diamond Horseshoe Saloon, which is St. Louis in the early 1800s. It's supposed to be like the transition between the East and the West.
The mid
light bulbs and all that when that's
if
new.
you will.
Right. And then by the time you get to the Country Bear Jamboree, when you get to Grizzly Hall, that you are in the mid 1800s and you're supposed to be in the Colorado Rockies.
So the bathrooms are a really big time span, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just past that, Pecos Bill and kind of the buildings that are the seating area there. That's like the 1860s to 1870s, and you're in the American Southwest at that point. It kind of has a little bit more of that Mexican influence there. Kind of helps with that transition over to Caribbean Plaza too. And then by the time you get to Splash Mountain, you're in the Deep South in the 1870s.
The frontier
kind of is out of the way there, but they fit it in where they could. And then by the time you get to Big Thunder Railroad, it's 1880s. Arizona is like Monument Valley kind of part.
Red Rocks.
Traveled, across.
Can confirm it's accurate.
Across, yeah.
Did you see a red rock or two when you were on that?
1 or 7,000.
The wildest rocks in the wilderness.
That's right.
So when the park opened in 1971, there was only 3 attractions there, and one of them was the railroad station. So I don't know.
I always kind of forget
about
about that.
Yeah,
I forget it lately, especially because the train hasn't been running.
Yeah,
So
right.
I just completely forget that it's even there.
Wait, is the station still there?
Still there.
Yes, it's still there, and actually it's in a different place than it originally was. Apparently, originally it was more over towards where...
Did they move it for Splash?
Yeah, I think it's more... it was actually closer to where Big Thunder is originally. And it was moved over kind of behind Splash.
And
or
to
right
give them an
before Splash
entrance
there.
for staging the parades.
Yes, which we can talk about in a little bit. The parade's there. They also had the Country Bear Jamboree, one of the best attractions in the entire park in the history of theme parks and themed entertainment. And also, we were wrong a few tour stops ago when we said that these
doesn't
didn't
sound right.
exist. But they did have the Davy Crockett's Explorer canoes in Walt Disney
they
World's
did?
Frontierland.
Really?
Yeah, and they were there until 1994.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And then after 1994, they still had them there, and cast members would do canoe races in them.
Oh,
But
yes.
guess what?
Now that
Times
you've said
before
this, I recall.
1994, and I have no recollection of that.
Were
I
they
think
out
they were
there like
seasonal.
by Tom Sawyer's Island in that water?
Yeah, I think they were seasonal, and the guides that were like the cast members that would help you paddle your canoe would do kind of shtick that was kind of like they were trying to be jungle
Sort of jungle
skippers,
cruising.
and telling, they're trying to tell jokes about those dioramas that are on the banks of the river where the riverboat goes. So that was there.
Well, they should bring that back.
No.
Just no.
Nope, we're good.
Well, and they also the rivers were like more busy, kind of like how they are at Disneyland, because we talked about how they had 2 steamboats for a while, plus they had those canoes going, plus the rafts over to Tom Sawyer Island, plus at one point they had the Mike Fink keel boats came over to
Oh, yeah. That's
Orlando.
Right.
So there was a whole bunch of
Who's
stuff
Mike
moving
Fink?
around on the river there.
Is it Rat Fink's brother?
Yes. I think that's actually more like his great uncle. So yeah, and then eventually, they took out the keel boats and took out those things. Let's see, other former attractions. That's really it. A lot of what is there now has been there for a long time. They did do a couple of overlays of the Country Bears. There's a Christmas special that actually ran until 2005.
I wish they would
Never
bring
saw
that
that.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Disneyland has had more turnover in their Frontierland than the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
They've really kept
Because
those.
Magic Kingdom perfected it. There's no need to change.
True.
That's right. So they shortly, it wasn't an opening day attraction, but in 1971 they did also have the Frontierland Shooting Arcade.
Which I always forget about in the Magic Kingdom. I was just telling Jeff that earlier. Like, I completely forget that it's even over there.
Yeah.
It seems more prominent in Disneyland. It's not
Yeah.
really quite as hidden.
Yeah, it's because it's right on the way to get to Big Thunder.
Yes.
Yeah. And interesting about that Shooting Arcade at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, it's kind of one of those things where, kind of like last time when we talked about them changing out the orchids every night on the Jungle Cruise, those guns used to shoot actual BBs.
Oh,
It's
my
actually
word.
lead pellets
Yeah.
instead of being
Really?
light activated guns. And they would have somebody go in every single night and repaint the steel targets because the bullets would chip off the paint when they hit them. Yeah, so they would go and they would repaint those things every single night.
Oh, yeah.
And gather.
I wonder
up
if
the
I actually
babies.
remember that, or there was somewhere I went where you did those little round things, you'd tink, and it would mechanically fall down when you hit it. It would trigger the thing. I don't know if that was there or Six Flags had one too. It might have been that
That is kind of
Yeah.
fun.
in the lick skillet section.
But I suppose then there's
God, I
also
love Hokum.
the danger of some kid turning the gun on his brother and shooting a baby in
Oh,
his eye.
yeah. There's nothing
course.
about that that's a good idea.
Wait,
or just any weird ricochet crap that can happen.
Yeah.
Some say
Wyatt
danger.
loves those shooting gallery things. He would probably do that today if I reminded him it was there.
Oh, mine totally
yeah.
would. Yeah.
I never have the change on me to put in there. Otherwise, I 100% probably would.
It was closed, actually, the last time I noticed it. I don't know if it's reopened since the COVID times.
So
know.
Splash
I don't think it was-
Mountain is relatively new-ish.
90s, right?
Oh, yeah.
90s.
1992.
Do y'all remember the crazy fun ad campaign they did? Have you seen those old commercials for Splash
Yeah.
Mountain? They're full 90s glory. It was 1991.
Wasn't Michael Jackson in one?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Whoops.
I don't. Yeah.
They're hysterical. It's worth a heading over.
It's
to
like
YouTube.
the hype video that get everybody interested
Yes.
in the ride they're building, and it's like a whole story, and like, hey, we're gonna go do this thing, and awful.
Yeah. I'll have to find those and put a link up on the page.
Disney
please
promos
do.
in the 90s were horrible.
Awful.
Yeah.
But wonderful at
Yeah.
the same time.
In a good way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, since we're on the subject of Splash Mountain, we might as well talk about we had a little bit of more information come out about the planned overlay changing the storyline there.
Mhm.
Not too long ago, there was the vice president of Walt Disney World, I believe it was. I don't remember her name
Becky.
because I wasn't.
Becky.
I was not responsible enough to pull up that news story because I forgot we were going to talk about
I
it.
think we're being infiltrated.
I'm curious how it's going to mesh with the Frontierland theme.
Well, so that's what I was thinking too, and he said that that's supposed to be the South anyway up there. Of course, we're off by what, like, you know, maybe like 70 years as the time frame
I
for
know that it
Princess and the Frog.
technically is because of that ride is based on. But
When
from
did
the
Princess and the
outside
Frog? That was 1940s.
I thought it was like 20s.
No, it was before that. It was like
20s.
20s.
20s, yeah.
20s.
So it's definitely
Yeah, so
throws
it's a
off the
40-year
timeline,
difference.
but and doesn't really mean frontier in any way. But
Well, and Splash Mountain throws off the geography anyway,
It
so it's
does.
kind of an outlier. The time of it, well, I guess the time of it is.
I mean, they could just redo the whole Frontierland and call it like Countryville. This is just where all the country
Thing
shit is.
Countryville.
No one really thinks they're in the frontier or pays any. You know,
Oh
like,
no, they've
"Ah,
given
what?"
up on that.
That's
They've
true. It just
yeah.
seems like it fits better in a New Orleans Square type area.
What does Monsters Inc.
Frontierland.
have to do with the future? Or
nothing
whatever.
at all, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Or Stitch for that
Sure.
matter,
Mhm.
or Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a
it's
toy.
a toy from the 90s. You are a
Or
toy.
those stupid gas-powered cars. What the hell's wrong with Tomorrowland? Can we just change the topic today?
I really like Jess's version of Tomorrowland, where it has Tom Sawyer Island in there.
Right in the middle of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Better than those palm trees.
I love Splash Mountain. I have loved it my whole life. But I also the ride mechanics I love, and I
Yeah.
trust them to do a cool ride. As long as I still have my big drop and my fakey drops throughout it and all that, it's going to be awesome. And go ahead.
Oh, I'm just going to say, yeah, my childhood is not ruined because you're taking away some, caricature rabbit out of it. that-
Yeah, no, not at all.
My son and I, last summer, when they announced that this was happening, we watched Princess and the Frog because I hadn't seen it actually since it was out in theaters. And there's so many cool parts of that I thought this is going to be awesome in a movie. But then they announced that it was going to take place after the movie.
Yeah.
So that means what's his name is dead, the good villain,
Yeah.
and the
facility.
Firefly. Spoiler alert, they're all dead.
Yeah. Oh, and man, I mean, can you imagine when you, probably after that interior drop, when you go down into the laughing place when it's
that
real
would've been the
quiet. If you went
Fireflies.
down.
That whole song would be so killer in there. There's so much
Really,
great
really
music, though, and I'm sure they'll still work all that in and have Randy Newman come in and do all that good stuff.
Well, I can't imagine they're going to actually spend the money to compose all new music when they've got all that stuff already written for them.
But if it takes place after, hey,
I mean, they could still call back, They can still show
hire
you what
Jim
happened
Hanks.
to Dr. Facilier,
Yeah.
show the dark realm that he's in, and you have to dive down through it to get to the
Yeah.
end.
But it would be
Long
awesome if
time
you
before we
climbed
had
up
any idea,
and
though, right?
during the climb for the big drop, if that whole "Are you ready?"
Yes.
They
Are
could
you
still do
ready?
it.
It was going and it was so killer.
I would
Well, yeah,
be
because it
kinda
could all be a
disappointed if
flashback.
it
Yeah,
doesn't,
it could be a
if that
flashback or just
It all happens inside a child's snow globe.
And they
Yeah.
they double down on him as a villain. He's included in everything villain. So to not put him in the ride would be pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Heather was right. It is going to be some time.
A long
before
time, yeah.
We see
She
what happens.
said it's going to be many, she used many twice, many months or even years before any of it will be seen and completed. So we don't even know when they're going to start working.
They just made the announcement to.
Yeah, it was well timed, wasn't it?
That merchandise sold, though,
We've
didn't
been
it?
working. They pretended to say, "Oh, we've been working on this for years," but now they're like, it's going to be many, many years."
Yeah, it's going to be
yeah.
years
Well,
before.
why though? If you've been working on it already,
I remember
That
being in
was
the
a
parks
knee-jerk.
like right after they announced it in the lines just to get Splash merchandise because people were convinced that I guess to the next day it was going to close down. So
yeah, they acted
Yeah.
like they were shutting it down and bringing
Yeah.
in the Christmas lights to do
Feel-
the overlay.
I'd like to say I feel sorry for anybody on eBay that spent like hundreds of dollars on a Splash Mountain water bottle, but you know,
Yeah.
you're dumb if you did that. You're dumb.
You're dumb.
She did say that they have made some decisions about the music that they'll use and some of the animatronics that they want to have. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's as far as it seems to have gotten.
And they'd be smart. They could reskin a lot of the existing.
You gotta
animatronics
think
they
that's
have. In
gonna
fact, like
take-
the ones in Disneyland were reskinned from some other ride.
America Sings.
Yeah.
You got to think that this is going to take a while to overhaul a water ride like that. You've got a whole bunch of other set of problems to deal with. I mean, apparently that the jumping Brer Rabbit animatronic is one of the most like difficult animatronics to keep running well for them because of just the way it works and the water involved around it and all that. So it's even when they start, we're looking at probably a couple years of this being under construction.
And they close that ride down every single year for a refurb. Every
Yeah.
January it closes.
Here's my thing though. If it's going to take potentially many years, or even just many years, they really they really need to fix some of those effects that have been broken for ages because
Yeah, we all assumed
there's
they
no-
weren't because they're
Yeah.
just gonna.
Yeah, there's no effects at all on the climb anymore.
yeah,
No.
and the laugh in place is half shut down. The splash cannons at the bottom of the drop haven't been working forever.
Well, thank
There's
you
no
for
excuse.
that. I hate those things.
Yeah, I don't like those.
Yeah.
Because I always have to pull around the corner and stop and then just get blasted while I'm just trying to sit there and live my life.
Yeah, or that.
Well, yeah, but it
stupid
really-
waterfall that soaks you when you get stuck at the end.
Yeah.
There's just no excuse for the bad show if they're not going to be
No, that's
working
true.
on it soon. It's
Yeah,
just-
Dan, but
It's
COVID.
sad. You know what?
I'm tired
These problems
of
want me to
existed before
start-
COVID.
everything.
I know.
Yeah. Would you like me to start swearing about vaccines again, or should we move on?
My
Hey,
Brer
that was
freedoms.
A lot of fun with those Donald Duck sound effects. I really enjoyed that.
Frontierland is home to my very favorite ride in the entire universe,
Which is
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
yes, 100%.
That's an excellent.
I
That's my favorite roller
can't get
coaster.
enough. I've been on bigger, better, more exciting, everything, but that one just gets me every time. I giggle like a little kid
Yes.
the
It's-
whole time.
Knocks the
It's
kidney
just
stones
fun.
right out of you.
It's
Yeah, I find
it's
that
just
I
so
have
fun.
a giant smile on my face the entire
The
ride.
whole time.
It's just so fun.
It's perfect. The track is thrilling, but it's not over the top.
It's almost more
the
fun to
theming-
me now that I know which turns and all, because you can lean into them.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Whoa.
Yeah,
That's why I get so
yeah.
confused when I go to Paris or go to Disneyland, and it's not the same, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that ride has a special place in my heart. That was the first real roller coaster I rode as a little kid,
Me
and it was
too.
the first real
Yeah.
roller coaster my son rode as a kid. So it was,
Yep.
and he
Mine too.
loved it just like I did. And yeah, so and the Disneyland one though, I really love because do you know the trick about the goat on the Disneyland one?
Mm-hmm.
If you like
Yes.
look at the goat when you're going around, it totally throws your vision off. for a little
Equilibrium,
bit.
yeah.
it's-
Yes, and you
that's
get all
fun.
dizzy, and it's more fun.
Yeah. Especially if you've had a few drinks at California Adventure and then just walk over and do that.
Absolutely.
Do that like 3 times in a row.
Yeah. Or ride
Yeah,
it
do it.
at either one of those parks. If you ride it during the fireworks, it's pretty exceptional. But especially at Disneyland, because it's
There's
right
that-
under the,
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
closer
Yeah.
to the castle.
well, and there's the final lift hill at Walt Disney World. It gives you a really good view of.
Yeah, if you can time it right, you can get some amazing
Yep.
views.
And I love when they closed down Big Thunder for many months a couple of years ago and reintroduced those bats they'd put on some They stapled some bats,
dollar
paper
store
bats to
glow
the
in the dark
ceiling.
paper bats.
They somehow made the lift chain louder. I'm not sure how they achieved that.
Well,
He is
Put
jarring.
mics on it and amplified it.
Well, and then there's that middle lift hill that has like that prop generator running.
Yes.
I swear it is so freaking loud. It's ridiculous. It's painful.
It's still the best ride in the park.
Still
It's absolutely.
absolute
I love it.
perfection. That ride.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better.
And Wyatt always
Although-
thinks I'm so lame because I love it so much. And he's like, if it's not 35 stories tall with a 200-foot free fall and, barrel rolls and inverse and this and that, he doesn't like it. I'm just like, yeah.
That first after hours that I got to go to that was absolutely deserted.
Mm-hmm.
I got on the
It was
back
literally
row.
the first after hours they ever did.
Yes, and I was in the back row of Big
you
Thunder,
were.
and I stayed on 5 times in a row because we'd pull back in and there was no one waiting to board because all those amateurs were out. The few people who did come to that
In
one,
line for ice cream.
yeah, they were waiting for their free
Morons.
ice cream, and meanwhile, I just stayed on that ride until
Yeah.
someone was standing there waiting to get in my row, and then I had to get off, and I was so mad. But it was
That's what we would always
fantastic.
do during parades or fireworks. is
Yes.
go- like the nighttime parade when everyone starts lining up and all that. Wyatt and I would just go ride the.
Yeah, Big Thunder, nighttime Big Thunder is
I
even
didn't
better
get
than
that.
daytime.
Could you
Big
try
Thunder.
again?
Thank you, Siri.
I like
Hey,
riding
did
Big
you
Thunder
know
too.
that there was one of my favorite delicious snack foods was invented in Frontierland at Disneyland?
Yeah.
Do you know what
Oh
it
boy.
is?
Yes.
Doritos.
Yes.
Little golden things. Have you seen though? Even beyond that, go ahead and tell the story of the invention
Yeah,
of the
so
Doritos.
the story goes is that the restaurant, it was called Casa De Fritos, which is now Rancho del Zocalo restaurant.
That place is great.
Yeah, that instead of dumping out the stale tortillas at the end of the night, the cast members would cut them up, fry them, and add some basic seasonings on them as a delicious treat. And that because the sponsor at the time was Frito-Lay,
Frito-Lay.
when they were visiting, they noticed that they were a really huge hit, and they decided to produce them, and that's how we got Doritos.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of the greatest inventions.
I feel
of all
certain the
time.
cast member that came up with that seasoning pack is now a millionaire.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he was paid handsomely.
Oh yes. Oh yes. All innovations made while on company time
Yeah.
are the property of the
That's
company.
Yeah.
well, that
little Bobby Dorito never got his money. Hey, Bobby Dorito.
Hey, it's me, Bobby.
It's like a
You know
little,
me, I like the
little
crunch.
12-year-old Joe Pesci. Hey, I'm Bobby Dorito.
What you doing with my chips?
My fungu. What, I'm a comedian? Like I'm some kind of comedian?
Even cooler to a nerd like me, at that same restaurant. Have you seen the Frito Kid that was there?
Yeah.
Is that a
So he
child
was-
that
he
was
was-
left
Is
unattended?
this
and
different
we
than
just-
Bobby Dorito?
No,
This is
yes,
young
yes,
Bobby
this-
Dorito.
This is like
Bobby
a cartoon mascot for Fritos. He was like a little kid cowboy, and they had at the restaurant this mine shaft with a little coin box on it
He
and a
said
tiny
shaft.
little a tiny little animated figurine of the Frito Kid, and you put a nickel in the coin box, and the Frito Kid would start moving. He'd say, "Hey there!" I forget what the guy's name. He would call
Partner?
down the mine
Bobby
to
Dorito.
like the miner who's down in the mines. Send up another bag of Fritos, and then down the conveyor belt out of the mine shaft would come your bag of Doritos. that you
Oh,
bought.
yeah. I'm looking at
Oh.
pictures of him now. He's cute.
I want
Yeah,
that.
and so
You
all
look-
day long he had a ton of different phrases recorded, and he just constantly be yelling down to his buddy in the mine shaft to send up another bag of Fritos for the
That's
guests.
amazing.
He looks like those guys that were like on the
Frito
car
Kid.
repair place or tire places in the 50s.
Yeah.
They always had like a statue or Shoney's Big Boy or some of these things. Like typical of that kind of little statue they always had.
I mean, I
love
wish
it.
we still had Casa De Fritos. What a great name for a restaurant.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
That means House of the Fritos.
Ooh, that's some excellent middle school level Spanish there.
Sprechen Sie Espanol.
Well, I think we'd get in a lot of trouble if we didn't mention the second best attraction in the park, which happens to be in Frontierland, which is, of course, the Country Bear
Jamboree.
Country Bears.
Which is a thing of beauty.
I never got the appeal of that thing.
As somebody who grew up in Georgia in the late 70s and 80s, it is a slice of home. It is.
Visiting your Meemaw's
It
house.
just feels authentic. It just feels real. Like, I don't know.
It's like hee-haw on a Saturday night.
I don't know why, but it reminds me of being a kid in the South. I don't just because it's got that sense of humor of hee-haw. It's like it reminds me of watching hee-haw as a kid. It's like
vaudeville hee-haw.
Yeah, it's that Southern vaudeville that I've heard those jokes 8 million times. I basically recite them quietly during the show to myself. And I still laugh at him. I still love him.
Even when he's not there.
Yeah. Big Al is my favorite, obviously.
Yes.
I was always a Liver Lips guy
Liver
myself.
Lips.
Liver Lips is good,
McGraw.
but Big Al just, when I was a kid.
He's based on a real person?
Tex Ritter, John Ritter's dad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a real country singer. Actually, apparently, like all the songs were done by real artists from the 70s, country artists at the time. So.
Yeah, even the "Mama Don't Whoop Little Buford" song that's done by a country parody duo who did a lot of like really. They had some really weird out there songs. Yeah. A lot of them were making fun of hippies. They're awesome. I discovered them recently, and they're one of my new favorite.
What's their
musical
name?
Acts. I can't remember. Jethro and Homer and Jethro.
Homer and Jethro.
Yeah, Homer and Jethro.
Yeah, they've got a lot of really weird.
Little
songs.
known fact: he grew up to start Jethro Tull.
Whoa, it's a small world.
After all,
yeah,
different land.
That's true. We'll get there eventually. So it used to be when you exited the Country Bears, I thought this was kind of cool. Have you ever noticed I don't know when the last time you've been into Pecos Bills?
Oh, I go there all the time.
Have you ever noticed that ordering area seems a little bigger than it needs to be, and a lot of the space closer to the Country Bears, they don't even use those lanes?
Mm-hmm.
There used to be another restaurant right there in between. It was the Mile Long Bar, sponsored by Pepsi. Because apparently, yes, back in the day, half the park, the west half,
Coke,
was Pepsi products, and the east half was Coke products.
Really?
And there was a war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tear down that wall.
And get rid of the Pepsi. Because
Mr. Disney, tear down that wall.
Yeah. So Pecos Bills used to be more burgers and stuff with their toppings bar, and then the Mile Long Bar you could get Pepsi beverages, and you could get, that was where they had more Mexican inspired food.
I'm totally remembering this as you say that.
And they had a bar with mirrors at the end to give it an endless bar effect. But the cool thing that I wish I could see is the animatronic animals, the Buff and Max, and I can't remember the third one's name, that are on the wall in Country Bears. You go out the exit door, and they're right there on the other side of the wall.
Their butts?
And they were... No, their heads magically turned around.
they're animatronic
And they would...
butts.
They would talk to guests in the Mile Long Bar and perform with. There was supposed to be a lady with a piano, and they were supposed to.
I'm glad you're saying this, because with the first time I went there and forced my family to go back in there, when the animals were talking, I was like, I swear this was more interactive before, and I think my memory was of going into the thing. And my granddad loved that attraction so much. Like, that was right up his. He grew up with vaudeville. He loved. Hee-haw and all that kind of stuff, but that was just right up his alley. He was the funniest Southern doofus, so that was just right up his alley. And so that he loved that, and I think that's what I'm remembering, is that you could interact with them like early version of Turtle Talk or whatever.
Right. And those figures were down lower and right in the guest seating area, so you could stand right with them and get your picture taken.
What a shame
with
that's not
that
there.
area. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen that.
Someone probably threw taco meat in his hair.
So what a
You
jerk
can't have
bag.
nice things.
Well, didn't they get
Cheese
moved
sauce.
to the campgrounds, or I think
Are they at the hoop-de-doo?
at one point? Well, at one point he hosted like a breakfast. I think it was just the moose or just the buffalo. It was the moose, I think.
They couldn't lock in the contracts for the other guys?
Apparently not.
Surprising.
One other thing I wanted to talk about real quick, history-wise, was something that didn't happen that we kind of touched on when we were talking about Adventureland. And we had mentioned that when they were planning Adventureland, they originally weren't going to include the pirates, and we had all said, what kind of doofuses were they to, because they wanted to include this other attraction, because why would you not want pirates? Well, I'm here to tell you now that we were all wrong, and Western River Expedition and the Thunder Mesa area was going to be the most incredible thing that ever would have been created at a theme park. And it's a sad day when they decided not to put it in there. So they were down past, actually basically from Splash Mountain past where Big Thunder is now, was going to be a giant mesa that they were going to build to cover up some show buildings. It was going to be a multi-level experience, and you could go up to the top of the mesa where they were going to have pack mule rides, and you could hike through a fake desert like they had at Disneyland. Yeah, in the early days of Frontierland at Disneyland, when they had the painted desert that you could walk through and see the fake
Animated rocks
and stuff.
Rocks.
Yes. They were also going to have a runaway mine train ride on Thunder Mesa, which was basically going to be Big Thunder Mountain. And then there was also going to be some shopping and dining. So this was going to be basically like a pavilion, like at EPCOT.
Oh.
But
Oh, neat.
inside this setting of a western town on this mesa. And you would go into a mine shaft. I said shaft,
shaft
again. Where you would get on the Western River Expedition ride, which was going to basically be
A dark ride?
Yeah, it was going to be a dark ride. It was going to be a boat ride. It was going to be like Splash Mountain, but Western themed, where you would go through scenes of wagon trains and gunfights and like animatronic. They were going to be newer, more advanced animatronics than in Pirates, more like EPCOT era animatronics. Bandits would attack your boat while you're going through. You would see a buffalo stampede. You'd go through a Native American village. You go through the town at night and the saloon girls dancing and stuff. And then at the very end, the bandits would come back to attack you, at which point you would go over a waterfall, which was going to essentially
That water
be
elevator like I wanted.
yeah. Or the drop from Splash Mountain. Essentially.
We'll go with that.
And you would go into a chuckling place. Suspect.
Yeah. But they had this thing, like they were really all in on this attraction. They had it to the point where they had the scale model with animated bits on it, like you see in the specials that Walt would do with the Haunted Mansion and
Walt
stuff
would
like
walk
that.
around and
Walk
show
around
you
with the
the
VIP
attraction.
guide. And this
Yeah.
is called the stretching room.
Yes.
And they had a preview center in the theater on Main Street where Mickey Mouse meets now, and they had an animatronic from that attraction, and they had the model there that you could see, and it just never happened. It was a combination of people. Yeah, it would have been amazing.
What did they do with that space? Where was it going?
Splash Mountain to past Big Thunder Mountain. That whole area was going to be one giant.
Like back around where the backside of the river ride is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But basically, there was a combination of all the people who had seen pirates on the Disneyland specials and wanted to go on the Pirates ride. Plus, it was going to be really expensive, and they kind of turned their focus to EPCOT, and so that went down the way.
Ooh.
And now it will never happen because there's no IP tied to it.
That's right. But Tony Baxter got to make Big Thunder Mountain.
Wait, I got it. Home on the Range.
That was going to be my Blue Sky thing when we got there.
Yes.
The country
Because they
Bear
do
movie.
play that one song when you're back by Big Thunder. Often they'll play that Rootinest Tootinest or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blues, whatever that song is from Home on the Range. I love that song.
I mean, what's her
Katie
name's
Lang
probably
song.
not doing anything right now, right? Or was she canceled?
Katie
Barr.
Lang.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Roseanne Barr as
Roseanne
cow.
Barr has been canceled because she has gone.
Turns out she's a racist cow.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they're still doing
was.
they're still doing her show without her, so they could just make a sequel and just call it like the other cows. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, all the cow family members.
All the other ones.
home on the Randy Quaid in that movie is amazing. He's also canceled by the
Yeah, I was gonna say,
say, like-
he's also, yeah.
That was not a good cast.
Well, yeah.
It also had Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein.
It's just an
the
unfortunate
Harvey
cast.
Weinstein film.
Produced by Kevin Spacey.
Louis C.K. as a jackrabbit.
Oof.
I get it. Jackrabbit. Oh, boy. Well,
So no Home on the Range, maybe then.
no Home on the
Darn.
Range, but you guys have any other ideas for a Blue Sky, things you would change or add, take out? Nobody better touch my Country Bears.
No,
No,
the
I
Country
definitely would never
Bears
touch that. I think
never
that I would love it if, since they're going to change the Splash Mountain into Tiana, I wish they would figure out a space maybe just on the other side of the parade entrance there to do Tiana's Cafe.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's so far from, I mean, if we're going to New Orleans anyway and get it
Yeah,
up
might
on the
as well.
Frontier thing, why not? But that would just be great to have, because that
It definitely would.
They
New
could dump
Orleans
it back there
food
with
is
bathrooms.
so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
Or
train
take
station
out
no one's
that
using.
whole area right where they have that little restaurant that's used to be the fry outpost.
The old French fry stand, and there's a bunch
now
of
it's
empty space there.
Sometimes has great waffle fries, but there's space right next to it, and then it sort of
It's
spills
empty
into-
from that all the way up to
there's
to
plenty
the
of
parade
room there.
entrance and then Splash. So
Yeah.
something like that would be cool. I would also like to see people being Western shootout style shot off the roofs and some of
Oh,
that
yeah, the
human
old
element
gunfight
thing
shows.
like they were talking about with Star Wars Town that didn't happen.
Yeah.
They used to have, when Disneyland first opened, they had that. There was a
Gunfight
frequent
show.
running show was, you know,
Well,
It would be
but
cool if
that-
randomly people came smashing out of windows or whatever up in the.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
with no explanation, just a guy flies through
Yeah.
the window and
Yeah,
then
then get up,
goes right
dust
back up.
himself
Not
off
dressed
and
as a
go.
cowboy. He's got like Mickey ears on and a fanny pack.
But like now that we know they have that slingshotted Spidey animatronic at Disneyland, they could have something happening up on the roofs there. Now they've got the Country Bears are usually out there waving
I
nowadays,
do like
which
that
I
they're
do
up
love
there.
that.
Yeah.
They should have the Country Bears do a gunfight.
But they only ever seem to have Big Al and Liver Lips and that one other guy, that cross-eyed one, the hat.
Oh yeah,
Cross-eyed one with the hat.
can't remember the name of that
I
one.
can't remember his name off the top of my head. The not popular one.
Yeah,
We'll call him Cletus.
sure. Yeah.
The bears are Henry, the master of ceremonies,
Which one
a
looks like
welcoming
this?
and friendly brown bear.
Yeah, that's
He's the
him.
one with the gray top hat.
Oh, no.
Liver Lips. We all know Liver Lips. Wendell is the golden brown bear who plays the mandolin and has
Yeah,
a
he's
massive
the one I'm
overbite
thinking of, I think.
bucket.
That's
Yeah.
him.
That's him.
Wendell.
Wendell.
Yeah. It's a good name.
What about you guys? Any changes or additions?
I don't want them to get rid. We didn't even talk about the fact that Tom Sawyer Island is out there. I don't.
That's
I
because it
think
sucks.
I think, well,
Truth.
maybe.
I
think they need to
it
keep-
out there.
Yeah, they need to have it. It's really a throwback to what kind of old Walt Disney World was like and
Boring.
Disneyland. I think if they found a way to keep that and not retheme it to pirates and keep some sort of Frontierland appropriate theme and make it more, I guess we need to make things more exciting for kids.
My
Although,
kids
If they turn
loved
that
it
into
when
like
they were
that,
you've got
red,
like
that redwood
escape
forest
caves and-
themed play place they have at
Oh,
California
yeah.
Adventure, that would be really cool.
Mhm. My kids did love it when they were younger because you got the caves you can go explore, and they love to go up to the
Yeah.
fort and pretend to shoot at people. And
Not for
those-
$100. You're not going over there to pretend a damn thing. We're getting on a ride.
those
See, that's the
barrels
problem.
That's
that
literally
barrel
how I
ridge,
parented Wyatt. No, we're not going over there.
And when that restaurant was open, it was very good. It served some great stuff out there, but
Yeah.
it's almost never open anymore.
well, if they came up with a really trendy treat to put out there that looked really good on
Yes,
the Instagram,
more people
and then
would go
people
over
would
there.
go
Right.
over there, and then they would have a good reason to put something cool on the island,
Mhm.
as long as they don't get rid of it altogether.
yeah,
sure.
good.
I think they.
Blow off your energy for kids' place would be awesome out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they've sort of got the makings of it there. There is a lot of stuff already there. It just needs to kind of be plussed.
Also, it feels like
Well,
it
if
takes forever to stand in line and wait on that dumb raft to come get you. Oh, put a bridge in, my God.
But
Oh,
then
yeah,
when
I'm
you
not doing-
get
I'm not
there,
waiting
there
for a
are
raft.
rocking chairs under in the shady area for the parents to sit on while you make your kids go
No,
play.
You know, the first time I ever went there was with you and Emily.
yes,
That's the first and only time I've ever been on that.
ever
dumb
been
ride.
out there.
Yeah.
It's a
I
great
went once
place
in
to
the
watch
80s,
the
that was
parade
it.
too. When the Festival of Fantasy parade, when it's going again, you can really see it well from the island.
No, I bet.
yeah.
Those tall
Yeah.
floats.
Right. I mean, Disney's all about storytelling, and I think that giving people an opportunity for like active making the stories themselves instead of always just sitting on an attraction and being ferried to the scenes. I think that's valuable. So I think that they really do need to put something good there
Yeah, for sure.
that still allows you to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
some
do
kind
love
of
that
beautifully
interactive
themed
redwood
play
forest.
interactive thing would be cool.
Yeah, place. My kids loved that out at Disneyland. Some of it they're too tall to do anymore, but it's a great
Well, they've-
active little area.
They've already
They got
shown
rid
that they
of all
can make really entertaining movies out of Pirates of the Caribbean and Jungle Cruise. So I think they need to make a Big Thunder Mountain movie.
Yes.
Like, you could make some sort of cool Western mining adventure treasure hunt type movie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
There's a huge, very involved backstory already where
Yeah.
it's a haunted mountain and stuff.
Yeah.
There was a comic book series about it. They have the makings for a movie. They just need somebody to
they could just make their way through the park,
do it.
and then everything can have its own movie, and then they can have their IP fit in to the parks like they want, but it's IP that actually calls back to the
IP
parks
they
to begin with.
generated, yeah.
Yeah.
They need
No.
somebody who wants to do it the way Dwayne Johnson really wanted to make the Jungle Cruise
Yeah.
and got so involved with it.
Can we get
Once
like
they
Owen
ditched
Wilson or somebody
Tim
interested?
Allen.
And also, Kurt Russell with an enormous
Hanks.
mustache needs to be involved in it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That would be good. Samuel L. Jackson.
Kurt Russell.
This mountain is too big and thunderous.
I am sick and tired of these mother scratching boulders.
I was thinking of the other Sam. What's his name?
Peckinpah?
No. Is it even Sam? Who's the mustache guy who plays every cowboy in the world?
Sam Elliott.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's Sam.
He-
Sam
You got
Elliott.
yourself a big
old Great. mountain
there.
He does have
Yeah.
a spectacular mustache, that gentleman.
Yeah.
It's about
Yes.
7 inches thick.
I aspire to grow into that man someday.
Whoa.
That came out of-
I look forward to that, man.
well,
You should grow first and then go into that, man.
I will 100% be cutting this section out of the show. That came out incredibly wrong.
Also, I
think
wish
it's-
they would plus Big Thunder a little bit. Like, I love the projection and the whole like they used to have the moving rocks that were going to fall, and they got rid of that and just stapled some bats to the ceiling. Do a little projection mapping in there. Would that be too much?
Disneyland's got the
Yeah, I
explosion
love that
projections.
whole the TNT goes off and all that.
Yeah,
That would
we
The
be
Disneyland Paris Big Thunder is excellent as well.
Yes.
Also, can y'all turn off that little trickle of water? Can just that little trickle right when you go over the first hill that like always hits me?
They
on the
did
head?
at least
You in
make
the
it
face.
now like it stops as you go through it, sort of. So I used to get my glasses wet, and then I'm just frustrated the whole time. I hate wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Well, then stop.
It's very sightist of you.
This has been Glasses Cast. Thank you for joining us.
Well, and now I am going to say thanks for hanging out with us again this week.
And if you'd like
excited
to get your glasses wet,
if you'd
Sounds
like to
dirty.
get your glasses wet,
Get your asses
on
wet.
on Big Thunder Mountain. Once again, I forgot to write my outro.
Whoopsie.
If you would like to take a
gander.
Take a ride on an oldie time.
if you'd like to
train.
take a ride on the Western River Expedition or explore anywhere else around the world, Key to the World Travel has a giant haunted mine shaft full of expert travel planners ready to make your vacation dreams a reality. Head to www.keytotheworldtravel.com to get started with the no obligation quote. Don't forget to catch up with our friend the Theme Park Professor for all the latest theme park news and tips at www.themeparkprofessor.com. Word of mouth is the best way to help us grow our show. If you have a friend or two who you think would appreciate our special brand of globe-trotting jackassery, tell them what makes our show so great and send them our way. You can find links to subscribe to the show on your favorite apps and all the latest news at www.goldkeyadventurers.com. We can't wait to hang out with you again next week. We'll see you real soon.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
So you know that the Fort or Rancho del Zocalo was the birthplace of Doritos. It's not very known that Flo's is actually the birthplace of whipping up some and calling it food.
To ask a question or share your travel story, you can reach us by smoke signal, carrier pigeon, or send an email to goldkeyadventurers@gmail.com. And make sure you follow the Gold Key Adventure Society on Facebook and Instagram. A huge thanks to our sponsor, Key to the World Travel. For all your travel planning needs, visit www.keytotheworldtravel.com for a free quote and help planning the trip of a lifetime. Tell them the Gold Key Adventurers sent you. That's www.keytotheworldtravel.com. Key to the World Travel, your key to a magical vacation. Thanks to Outer Vibe for the use of their song Hoka Hey for the intro and outro of our show. Find them on Facebook at The Outer Vibe or check out www.outervibe.com for tour dates, music, merch, and more. We'll see you next week for another meeting of the Gold Key Adventure Society. And until then, remember, life is short and the world is wide. So go have an adventure.